Good morning. Well, if it comes on. Good morning, Facebook family and friends. This is Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. Thank God. Thank you all for joining today. Want to say to each and every one of you who may join me as I go live, really appreciate it. Those who may come on later or watch this video later here on Facebook or even on YouTube, really appreciate it. Today is January 25th, 2025, as we're talking more about becoming whole and authentic. And today our topic is coming from a young man who reached out to me. He gave me this topic. He wanted to know, how do you become unstuck when you're stuck in life? When you feel that when you're stuck in life, he said. Just keep it right with what he said. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Last week we talked about emotional hypervigilance and we talked about indoctrination. And that hypervigilance is a state of heightened awareness and watchfulness. You may be hypervigilant if you're constantly on guard, on the lookout for danger, even when there's when there's little or no risk of anything bad happening to you. The reason we want to talk about this because because abuse can cause us to be more hyper aware of other people, and this can be problematic when we place the feelings and the needs of other people above our own. So that's why we talked about it last week. And we also talked about indoctrination. It's the act of imposing our beliefs and ideals on people. Because when we do that, it can limit their ability to think independently. When we do that, when we want everybody to think like we think, it puts us all in a box instead of allowing people to come freely with their own ideas, freely with the way they want to do things. And when we do that, it opens up a whole new world where you allow people to have their own input and own say. So today we're going to talk about being unstuck. That was all we talked about last week. Today we're talking about again being unstuck, how to get unstuck in life. And when I thought about it, I did some research and I looked up the word what it meant to be stuck in life. When you get stuck in life when you think you should be something that you're not. You think life should be different than it is. So you begin to feel that you're stuck because you think that you should be something that you're not. Maybe you think that you should be debt free by now. Maybe you feel that by now I should own my own home. By now I should be married. When these things don't happen as we expect them to, we began to think that we are stuck because our lives should be different than what it actually is. Feeling stuck doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually stuck, that you actually are stuck. It means that you've hit an obstacle or a series of challenges and you're finding it tough to figure out how to get yourself out of a rut. That's what it is. Whether it's feeling like you're just in a bit of a rut, or you feel like you're fully, inhabiting your own personal version of that movie Groundhog Day with or without Bill Murray. If you feel like you just got your own version of that, feeling stuck in life can be draining, and it can also be very disheartening. It can really be draining when you get to a place that you feel that way. So another thing about feeling stuck, just because you're dealing with, feeling stuck, maybe just because you're dealing with some type of self-doubt, which is then making it much harder for you to focus on your own personal development. And if that's the case, just know that it happens to the best of us. Sometimes we get to that place where we're doubting ourselves. That happens to everybody. One thing we want to always know, that's why it's important to do these. Because sometimes we feel like we're the only one. We feel like we're the only one stuck there. It seems and listen to other people sometimes, we feel like everybody else is able to do it. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes the things in our lives, what had happened to me to cause me to not to be able to go further. What is it? So we always look at what happened, not what's wrong with me, but what happened. The good news is that feeling stuck in life is actually an excellent opportunity for your personal growth and for your personal development. Look at it, if you can even just to think on that, if you can grasp that there's some good news in where I'm at today. I feel like I'm stuck, but being stuck opens all type of possibilities and all type of doors for things to change. When you're there, like what did that movie? That was an old movie one time when I think it was Richard Pryor, and he said he'd come to the bottom of his life. He come down to the bottom of his life, and the only way he can go is up. When you start to think, okay, I'm here, I'm in this rut, I can only go up. It can't get no worse than this. I can only go up. So that's an opportunity for you to, to do something differently. There are many, many definitions for being stuck. There are many definitions. So in order to actually work on that area where you may feel stuck, you really need to understand why you're stuck. There's a lot to know here. So today we're going to speak from the definition of having a sense of being trapped or unable to progress in a particular area in our lives. Because you can be stuck in multiple areas. We're going to talk about that today. You may be stuck. You can be stuck in multiple areas in your life. So we're going to speak from a definition that says that being stuck is having a sense of being trapped or unable to progress in a particular area of your life. Okay. It can describe a feeling of being in a rut. Whether you might feel like you're not making any real or any substantial progress towards your goals, or experiencing any significant change in your life, especially if you're dealing with challenges and it feels like it's hard to catch a break or to get yourself out of the tough time that you're dealing in, that you're feeling like you're in. So if it can be, especially, like I say, especially if you're dealing with some challenges or feel like it's hard to catch a break. I'm doing this and I just can't catch a break. Every time I get one thing straightened out, it looks like something else come up. It's a fairly common feeling for a lot of people that can happen in different areas of our life. It can happen at work. We can feel that we're stuck in our relationship with other people. We can feel that we're stuck in our sense of personal development, in our mental health in general. For an example, you might be dealing with feeling stressed or burnt out, and it may feel like there's no end in sight, or maybe you're struggling to keep, on top of everything that's going on around you. So it can be a lot. Feeling stuck can be frustrating, and it can be demotivating, and that's one of the things that it does that we need to talk about, because when it takes away our motivation, then it's hard for us to get out of that rut that we're in. So feeling stuck can be frustrating. It can be demotivating, and it might lead you to feel like things in your life are stagnant, or that you can't figure out how to move forward because you just don't see any positive change happening. I want to start right here to say this. I want to start right here and say, Ron Wheeler, we appreciate you. We appreciate your family. We're still praying for you, your family, your brothers. And we're trusting God. We're really trusting God to move in you guys' favor. So your mom and all of you guys are in our prayers and thoughts. So feeling stuck can be frustrating. It can be demotivating. Know that. And it might, make you feel like, life is just stagnant, or you can't figure out how to move forward because you don't see any positive change happening. Even when you don't see any positive, change happening. You may also... I want to go back. I want to say this. How do I want to say? You may also feel momentum happening in some areas of your life. For example, maybe you feel like work is going well, but then your personal life is not where you want it to be. So that's why that's why it's kind of hard to pinpoint what we need to talk about, and that's why we just chose one area, because some areas may be good. You don't want to say, if I'm stuck, I'm not stuck in my entire life. Think about the 8 key areas, 8 key areas of your life. There are your physical health, mental health, your spirituality, your emotional well-being, your financial well-being, close relationships, your career, and just your general social well-being. The thing with feeling stuck is that you might feel that way in one of those areas, or even several of them at the same time. You may feel like you're stuck in your mental well-being. You may feel like your mental and physical health. That can happen at the same time. And at any given time, there could be multiple, many of these things happening at the same time. You want to first be aware of how you feel about those different aspects of your life, so that you can then figure out what you may need to do to improve things. So when you're thinking about when we're feeling stuck, you need to identify that area where you're feeling stuck. Because you want to be aware of how you feel about those aspects in your life. Then you can figure out how you may want to go about to deal with them and how to improve them. Keep in mind that feeling stuck doesn't mean that you're actually stuck. Because you're not. That's a feeling. What it means is that you cannot currently see your way out of whatever situation it is that you're dealing with. And that's a very different thing from actually being stuck. The only way you'll ever actually be stuck if you're completely out of options. That's the only way you will ever be stuck in anything is when you're completely out of options. And we always have options. There are always options. I think I mentioned that a little bit last week. Sometimes the option may not be the one you want to take, but it's still an option. And not even taking any action and remaining stuck, feeling stuck, that's an option too. You get the option of staying where you are. You get the option of trying to do something differently. There's always options. Sometimes we don't like the consequences of what that option may do, or how it may feel when we choose an option, but we still have options. So that means there is always some way out. You just need to identify the options. Just identify what options are available to you. The challenge that many of us face when we feel stuck is the need to confront the feeling of being stuck and to deal with them. This is the challenge. The challenge the challenge is, when we feel stuck, is the need. There's a need to confront that feeling and to the feeling of being stuck, rather, and to deal with it. So that's where the challenge come in. But before we go into first confronting the feeling, we want to talk about why it's important to do that. Why it's important that for us to confront, those feelings. It matters that we confront the feelings because unless you know what you're dealing with, and more importantly, why it's happening, you're going to struggle with making any meaningful or any lasting progress. It's very important. We need to know what's happening. We need to know what we're dealing with. We need to know why it's happening, so that we can, so we don't struggle with making any progress. Sometimes we try to make progress without dealing with that emotional part. We need to know, what am I dealing with? Why is this happening in my life? Why is this keep coming? You know how sometimes something in our lives happen and we don't like it and we keep trying to change it, but we don't understand. We haven't even dealt with it. We have to deal with things. We have to do that hard work. Sometimes we don't want to do the hard work. We're constantly challenged to figure ourselves out because no one can do that for us. Nobody can figure us out. Nobody can figure you out but you. And it's that figuring out that helps us to see what is working and what isn't. So when we look at ourselves, we always look through the mirror of our own life. When we see, it'll help us to see what's working and what's not. That's why we talk a lot of time, and we don't want to look through that window into other people's lives, because sometimes we will look at other people's lives and see where they so messed up, and it helps us to feel like we're not. But if we begin to look in the mirror of our own life, we can find out in ourselves what's working for me, what's not working for me, and that's the best place and the best thing to do. And knowing this, is needed so that you know what is on, what you need to do for your own self-improvement. Once you understand what's happening, you figure out, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling stuck? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? What's causing me to feel stuck? Then that's the only way you're going to be able to deal with it. The thing is that just knowing you're a bit stuck is fine. That's good. Somebody said knowing this after battle, knowing you're stuck. You even need to know sometime that you're stuck. Sometimes we go through life and we pass by all those things and we don't even take time to say, you know what, I find that in my mental health, I'm stuck. We need to take time and look at ourselves. And once we find that out, that's good. But it doesn't change anything. Just knowing that I'm stuck in my health, my desire to be healthy, knowing that I'm stuck there doesn't change anything. It's good to know, but it doesn't change anything. We have to work out why we feel stuck so that we can then address the root cause. Knowing if we don't get to the root cause, so let's say for instance that weight loss, and you want to lose weight. But the root cause may not be because you're not eating healthy. The root cause may be because of depression. We need to get to the root cause of things. We try to fix things sometime on the surface, and we don't want to deal with the root cause. But in order to be better and in order to be whole, we have to deal with the root cause of things. So then why do we feel stuck in life? Why do we even feel stuck? And there are many, many, many reasons. And I'm just only going to talk about the four most common one. But there are many reasons that people feel stuck, and that's what you're going to have to look into. That's what you're going to have to think about. That's what you're going to have to address. But as we look into these four that I'm going to talk about, hopefully it'll help you to look, guide you on your way to finding out why you may feel stuck at any given time. So sometimes people get stuck because they have a lack of clarity. So in other words, not being clear on what you want out of life or what your goals are, or not having a solid understanding of what really matters to you, so that you can use that to guide you to do what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Sometimes we don't even have a clear understanding of what we want out of life, of what our goals are. Sometimes we don't even set goals in our life. We think about things in our mind, but we don't actually set goals. Not when we don't have a solid understanding of what really matters to you. We need to stop sometime and think about what's important to me. Not what am I doing that people enjoy me doing. What's important to me? So that you can use that, and you use that to guide you on what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And that's one of the reasons we talked about indoctrination. It's important for you to decide what you want to do, not what the world do, not what the world does, not how society say, not what the fame is about, not about that, but what do I want? I'm unique. You're unique. We're fearfully, we're wonderfully made. We are so unique. Just as our fingerprints are unique, you are so unique. You don't have to be like the in crowd. You can stand down and be different. Be different. Be the leader that you created to be. So what if everybody else doing that? So what if everybody else think that way? Think for yourself. We're not indoctrinated to anything. And when we are, we get past that. We work on ourselves so that we question things to say, well, why is it this way? Why can't I wear white after a certain day? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do these things? Because that's the way it is. No, we don't. And if we don't have clarity and a strong sense of direction, it's really easy to become lost. And then it can really be tough to figure out how to move forward. So we need to have clarity. We need to have clarity. We need to have clarity of, on what we want out of life and what our goals are. Another thing we need to have, get rid of any fear of self-doubt. And this is very common. This is a very common challenge for a lot of people, especially if the idea of moving forward, pushing ourselves to take chances in life might be, take us out of our comfort zone. Because we're hardwired to protect ourselves. So we often worry about failing and about making the wrong choices. We worry sometimes because of ourselves, our own personal feeling, and sometimes because how we're going to look to others. So that self-doubt is another challenge that people face. So why am I stuck? Because I got self-doubt about taking this chance in life, how it's going to come out. We don't, we want to make sure it's going to come out and it's going to work good for us. The way that we make decisions, the way that a good way maybe to make decisions, is to gather all available information. That's why we talked about indoctrination too. When indoctrination, you're just taking a one-sided view. But you want to know, if you decide to do something, you want to look at it from both sides. You want to look at it from, is this a good idea or this a bad? We used an example once before. If you're thinking about looking for, if you think that buying renting is better than buying a house, and you put that in Google, is renting better than buying a house, everything the majority of the things that come up first is going to be about renting, why it's good. But if you put in there, is buying a house better than renting, then you're going to find information about buying a house. So what we do, you don't want to be one-sided in your thinking. You want to look at the opposite too when we start to think. So when we start to doubting ourselves, we want to be able to look at it from both sides. We want to get out of our comfort zone. Like I said, we're hardwired to protect ourselves. We don't want to fail, and we don't want to make the wrong choice. And we might just end up completely paralyzed by fear and unable to even take the smallest step, which is going to keep us feeling stuck. Whenever we have fear or that self-doubt, it may not work. We will remain, we'll even be able to, we can become paralyzed in that fear, and it will hinder us from taking that next step. And we'll remain feeling stuck. We'll remain in that area where we feel stuck. Feeling overwhelmed can also lead us to feeling stuck. When we have too much going on in our lives, it can be really tough to identify where to start and how to prioritize. And this can lead to a feeling of being stuck, of struggling to work out what we should focus on. And this can also lead to procrastination. So because I got so much going on in my life, I'm feeling stuck. I don't know where to even start. And now I just don't do anything. I began. This can lead to procrastination when we are feeling overwhelmed. And the fourth one that I want to talk about, the difficult situations. When difficult situations, what I'm talking about, I mean, when there are external factors such as, toxic work environment, when there's conflict with your coworker or with your manager, having issues with your personal relationship, like a friend, a family member, or your spouse. When we're dealing with challenges like financial problems, the more stuff we're dealing with, the harder it can be to feel like we can make changes in order to move forward. So we may end up being stuck in that situation. So those are some of the things. So why does confronting these types of feelings matter? We said that we needed to confront them. It matters because when you begin to acknowledge these feelings of being stuck, it can help you to break out that negative patterns and start actively making progress towards your goals. That's why we really need to address those. When you confront these feelings, you increase your self-awareness, which then helps you to make better decisions and take actions that actually align with your values and your goals. Another thing it can do, it can also provide you with motivation. When we start to address this, when we facilitate where you facilitate your personal growth, you improve your overall sense of happiness and fulfillment in life. So by facing your fears and working through your challenges, you become stronger. You become more resilient, and you're better equipped to handle any future obstacles that may come your way. So we have a couple of comments, so we're going to look at, then we're going to talk about, so if you're stuck, because we want to all be a part of this, then we're going to talk about how do you become unstuck. Okay. Thank you so much, Pedro. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Gua and Joy. Pedro, I love your post and what you're sharing here. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Jeremiah, good morning, nephew. I love you. Good morning, my sister Pat. I love you too. You all thank you so much, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to watch these videos, and hopefully something is said. And if you got any comments on how to become unstuck or anything that you want to share, put it in on Facebook, and we'll share that with everybody that's online. So how do you get unstuck? You're feeling like you're stuck. How do you get unstuck? The first thing you have to do is identify your what you feel right now. How do you get unstuck? You got to identify what you feel right now. And that simply means take time to be really honest with yourself about what you're currently feeling. I say currently feeling for a reason. You'll hear me a little bit later. A simple way to do this, and you know me, grab a pen and paper and consider how you feel about these aspects in your life. Those 8 aspects in your life. So, right, if you get a pen and paper, you write down physical health, mental health, spiritual health, emotional well-being, financial well-being, my close relationships, my job, my career, and my general, social well-being. If you sit there and write on a piece of paper, write those 8 things down, and you rate each one of them, then rate them. Are they good? Are they great? Are they good? Are they just okay? Do they need some work, or do they need a lot of work? When you do this, don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. Just write them down, and then write down, how do you feel about each one of these? Rate them. Are they good? Are they great? They're good. They're okay. Need some work. Need a lot of work. Once you do that, then you take a look at each one of your answers, and consider why you responded there. Why is it good? Why did you say it's great? Why did you say it's okay? What made you say it needed some work? What made you say it needed a lot of work? So an example, so if you said that your emotional well-being needs some work, why did you pick that answer? What's happening and what's not happening that's leading you to feel that way? So you also, you don't want to just say, okay, I'm not feeling real good about my my relationship. I'm not feeling good about my relationship. What made you say that? Okay, you want to look at what's happening in the relationship to make you say that, and what's not happening in the relationship. Always it's both sides. So there's something happening to make you feel that way, but what's not happening too. You need to know that too. And then you do that for each area in your life. Okay, if you want to do it, write it down. Do it for each area. And this when if you do this, it's going to help you to build a clearer picture of why you feel the way you feel about different things in life. And it's very much about this is like having an honest discussion with yourself so that you know what your current situation is and why you feel the way you do. This is not something that you're sharing with anybody else. This is for you to know and get a clear picture about why you feel the way you feel. And then after you identify your current feelings, then you want to explore them. You want to take a look at them. You want to explore them. You want to identify what you want to feel. Because now that you know where you are today, it's time to think about where you want to be in the future. Now you think about where you want to feel. Now, again, with that paper and pen, if you want to do it that way, get your paper and pen again. And you got your physical well-being, your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, your financial, your close relationship, your career, and your general social well-being. Think about what you want that part of your life to look and feel like in the next 5 years. How do I want to be emotionally? How do I want to be financially? How do I want to be physically? How do I want my mental state to be in the next 5 years? You don't need to be super specific when you're doing that. The point here is to identify where you want to be, broadly rather, where you want to head toward. You're not going from A to Z. Where you want to start to work on, so that you can begin to set a clear direction for yourself. It's not good to try to go someplace without having directions. You find yourself lost. You can get so overwhelmed, and you can get so disheartened about when you're trying to go somewhere that you don't know where you're going to. You just turn around and go back home, and you go right back into that same situation of feeling stuck. So as you began to do things to become different and to go be better, you want to make sure that you have some direction. You have something in place where this is where I'm headed. And identify how you can create those feelings. This is what I want in my life. This is how I want to feel. So this is not just a sentence. When you identify how you can get to where you want to be, this means you need to do a lot of brainstorming. And you may even need to do some research. Invest in yourself. Care enough about where you're trying to go to do whatever it takes. Research if you need to. Discover some ideas from some type of external sources. Start with coming up with your own. Start by yourself, though, because when it comes from your own mind, you tend to have a much stronger sense of kind of like ownership of it, which means you're more likely to make it happen when it comes from you. But if you feel stuck, then do some research. It can be helpful. Read some articles, some books, how to get there. Watch YouTube, some videos. Talk with people you trust. There are a lot of different ways to come up with ideas, but after you come up with the ways, that will create the feeling, after you come up with the ways that are going to help you create the feelings that you want to have, then you want to create your plan. Now it's time to create your plan. After you've done you don't want to start, like I said, you don't want to leave out steps. To go from one step, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Because if you don't address these things, you may get you may get lost along the way, or you may get discouraged along the way, and you find out that you don't actually follow through on it. When you get ready to create your plan should include what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how often you're going to do it, and how you're going to know that you actually did it, how you're going to monitor your success. Like a smart plan, how you're going to monitor your success. Be really clear on what it is that you want. You start there. Know what you want. Be really clear with yourself on what you really want to achieve and how and what you really want to change. That's first. Be clear on what you want to achieve and what you want to change, and then focus on what is within your own direct control to do. We can't change anybody else. We can't make anybody else be different. Look at things that are in your direct control. What can I control? Then break down goals and break them down into some little smaller steps. So, physical health. If your physical health is in a rut, and then this could mean making a commitment to walk at least a half hour, 4 times a week. And then your benchmark with success you can measure, say, by based on checking your energy levels to see how you feel at the end of the month. So give yourself time, and if you don't make it if you want to decide that you're going to walk a half an hour 4 times a week, and you don't make the 4 times a week, try not to let that be the stopping point for you. Maybe the next time, try it again. Don't give up. Oh, don't give up on yourself. We see, Ron, thank you so much, Greg. He said, Grandma, thank you for your prayers, family. Your prayers for my family and everyone else. I'm praying for everyone on this live and in this world. Stay faithful to your Most High. Blessings to everyone. And Nikita, good morning, sweetheart. Love you. So when you like I said, when you're doing it, review it to see if you didn't make the entire week, or you only walked for one day. Try it again next week. Don't give up on the plan. Whatever your plan that you create, don't give up. Know that a plan, first of all, a plan is a statement of intent. This is what I intend to do. So sometimes you may change it. Sometimes it may not work out the way you want. A plan is a statement of intent. So the most important thing is to actually follow through on the plan one step at a time and keep yourself focused on making progress. That's it. How much progress doesn't matter. But as long as you're making progress, as long as you're becoming whole and authentic, as long as you're growing, as long as you're going to where you want to go. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. You can forever grow. Grow. Continue to grow. Continue to learn. Do those things. You don't need to do everything all at once. And in fact, it's much more, you're more than likely to succeed if you focus on doing things gradually. One day at a time and one step at a time. You find that you're more successful if you do it that way. Remember that even small steps can help you build your momentum, and you'll feel a lot more motivated and productive in your life. And since our body's natural energy creates more body and energy, you'll find that little bits of positive momentums will help you build more momentum over time. So once you get to that point that you start to, every day I'm going to have oatmeal, I'm going to start. You know how it is if you decide that you're not going to have sugar. So if you the first few days, you may not even like your coffee anymore. But then you find yourself where you kind of get used to it, and you can do it. You can do it if you continue to try. Just continue to try. So know that getting stuck can happen to anybody at any given time. Anybody at any given time. So I was looking for some tips to give to people who may not be stuck, and for those that may be stuck too. There's some tips that I have that may help us, to not to feel stuck. Because remember, saying that I'm stuck in life, that's a feeling. You can take it or not. It's a feeling. That's what it is. Practice self-care always. Taking care of yourself is important all the time. But self-care is even more important, even more crucial when you're feeling like you're stuck. Because if you feel low on energy already, or you just feel bad about yourself, it's going to be really tough to find the energy you need to start making those positive changes. And self-care can be anything. It can include a lot of things. Just getting plenty of sleep is self-care. Eating well is self-care. Exercising regularly is self-care. Doing things that brings you joy and brings you relaxation, that's self-care as well. Those things are self-care. Good morning, Pastor Newsom. Those things, that's self-care. Another thing that we sometimes overlook is practicing gratitude. It's so much happening, and it's so easy to see the things that are not good. It's so easy because they put them right in front of our face. If somebody do it, we put them in front of our own face. But it's so easy to see the bad and the worst and the things that are happening that we don't like. But because feeling stuck can sometimes make it hard to see the positive things that we already have in our lives. It can make it really, really hard. If you feel like you're stuck, it's going to be hard for you to see the good things that are happening. But when we start to practice gratitude, it can help us to shift our focus to what we do have, instead of focusing on what we don't have. You talk to people, they can tell you how bad it is and what they don't have. But start telling them about how good. Tell them to start talking about the good. Start highlighting the good in your life. The fact that even, for me, even the fact that I get up in the morning time, whatever it is that you find to be good. I found a thing that I want to share with you that is so awesome and I'm excited about it. My granddaughter, my 12-year-old granddaughter, taught herself how to crochet, crochet with her hand, without needles. And she's going to teach me. And somebody asked me, why do you want to make a blanket? Or are you really making a blanket? I'm going to make the blanket, not because I need one, but because I get to say to myself that my grandbaby taught me how to crochet. I always wanted to learn how to do it, but she's going to teach me today. And I'm excited because I get to do something new. I get to do something different. I get to learn something that I've never done before. Practice gratitude for those little small things. Even when the bad is happening, look for something good. I remember Mr. Wheeler was telling us about his brother, not doing well, but he was able to even to go see him. That's a blessing. Find that good. Focus on, I was able to go see him. Even if you went to see him and he was in the dumps when you got there, I was able to go see him. I was able to, impart some positive thinking into his life. I was able to say something good for him. I was able to go get him a glass of water, whatever. Think about, let the good things in our lives be at the forefront of our mind. Focus on those things. And it plays a proven role in helping us become more appreciative. And once we do this, if we focus on those good, it has been proven that it would help us to be more appreciative of all the good things in our lives. And that's good. That's really good. So be mindful to focus on those positive things. Don't allow negativity. Don't allow what the bad things, the things that we don't want in our lives, to overshadow the good. Challenge your negative thoughts. Sometimes feeling stuck can be accompanied by negative self-talk or limiting beliefs that hold you back. That's what we talked about, limiting beliefs that hold you back. So actively challenge your thoughts by asking yourself, is that really true? Is that really true? Who decided that? Why is this the rule? Why is this the way it goes? Look for evidence that either support or reject whatever those thoughts are. When you have negative thoughts, or when you feel like somebody's jealous of you, go and see if they're really jealous of you, or maybe they just like you and want to be like you. Maybe that's why they're in your face. Maybe that's why every time you look around, they're calling you with stuff. Maybe that's why they don't even tell you the truth, because they want you to respect them. They want you to like them. So think about it when we look for the evidence, that we can look for the evidence that supports what we believe, and we also want to look for evidence that rejects what we're thinking. Remember one thing about thoughts. Thoughts are not facts. And it's up to us whether we want to believe our thoughts or not. We get to choose. If that thought is coming up and it's a negative thought, it's a thought, not a fact. We get to choose that. Am I going to believe this thought and let it take part in me? Or am I going to, I'm just going to reject it? It's just something I thought about. I used to always answer statements, and people didn't ask me questions, and I found myself doing a lot of things that nobody even asked me to do. So I decided. I think I was talking to someone one day, and they said, you're only supposed to answer questions. So now I learned to wait for the questions. So when people make a statement, I let it go. That's just a statement they made. Unless I want to hold a conversation about the statement, I don't have to give a reason. I don't have to have an answer. I don't have to fix everything. My sister Pat on here can tell you, I used to fix everything. I don't have to fix everything. I don't have to be concerned if everybody can't fit in the elevator. That's not my concern. And I would think, well, all she got to do is just get back a little bit, and that man could have got on. I was hooking it up. But now I challenge those thoughts. I'm in this elevator. I'm going where I'm going. Whatever reason they chose not to, it's up to them. I don't try to manage everybody else. And we want to also challenge ourselves. Challenge yourself. Oftentimes, we can find ourselves in a rut because we're not pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. So feeling stuck may be a sign that you're too comfortable in your current position. In your current situation, you may be comfortable there. Sometimes we say we're not, but if we haven't gotten to a place that is where it's totally uncomfortable, you got that couch and that couch is sagging, but you still keep sitting on it talking about you need a new couch. But you still got it, so you keep staying right there. We're still comfortable sitting there. We watch movies in it. Yeah, my back's still hurting a little bit. I just rub some liniment on it from that sitting on that old couch. But I'm still okay on it. So as long as we're okay on it, sometimes we don't do anything to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. It's okay to do that. And then start small and build over time. We don't need to go from 0 to 100. When we challenge ourselves, we try to take a couple of little things and then gradually build and build until they become bigger things. Just like your savings. When you decide you want to save, the big thing about savings, if you only put $10 a month in your savings and not taking it out is way better than, well, I can put $100 in and then you go back and start taking money out of your savings. Just the same way. If you put $10 a month and don't touch that 10, then you find that you got enough to go buy you a CD. Then you got that one CD, you don't mess with it because you haven't been messing with that 10. You've been living all this time without that $10 every month, every week. So you're good with it. You're comfortable doing it. Now you buy you a CD and you're looking for other ways that got more interest to help build your finances. So those things, when you take your time and ease your way into these things, you're more likely to create long-term success and stability in whatever changes that you're trying to make. Just a few more, now I'm going to end for today. And another thing, learn something new. That's another thing. Learning a new skill or taking on a challenge can help to break out of the feeling of being stuck. Learning a new skill like I'm going to do today can take a challenge and help you, to help you to grow it. I'm going to know how to crochet once Leo teaches me. But learning something new can take the challenge, can be can help us to break out of being stuck. So now, I thanks to Jim and his mom and Cindy, I have puzzles to do when I have free time. And now I'll be able to crochet when I'm sitting there. If I want to watch a movie and crochet, I can do that too. And be open to change. Your mindset plays a big role in your likelihood of success. So if you believe that change is going to be a positive thing in your life, it will be a positive thing in your life. Open ourselves up to change. Start to visualize your success. Visualization is a very powerful tool, and it can help us overcome those resistance and the kinds of barriers that we put up for ourselves. So start to visualizing your success. You say you want to buy that car in 2020 and before the year is over. Start to visualizing it. Spend time visualizing yourself succeeding at whatever it is you want to achieve, and imagine how you're going to feel when you get there. Man, when I get this car, I'm going to get this car later on in July. And when I get this car, think about how you're going to feel and some things you're going to do. That's going to motivate you. That's going to make you feel good about it. It's going to help you feel good about what you're doing. It's going to also help to keep you focused on doing it. I don't want to leave out being flexible. Be prepared to shift directions if needed. I'm planning to get this car in July. I'm going to buy this car and I'm feeling really good about it, but something may come up. Be prepared. You don't have to close off your life so, oh my God, this may happen. But be prepared. So if it does, know and remember that change happens. Things happen. Your circumstances may change. Be willing to adjust your goals and your plans if they do. Don't let that be another sticking point for you. Well, I tried, it didn't work. Don't let it be another sticking point, but adjust your goals. Life is unpredictable. And sometimes we need to pivot to take a different approach to achieve what we want. So you may have to take a different approach. If you do, take a different approach. And if you need to, you don't have to deal with this type of challenges on your own. You should not deal with them. It's really important to seek support from friends if you're feeling stuck, so that you don't feel isolated and so you don't feel like you're unable to identify a path to go forward. It may involve just talking to a friend, a family member, a mentor, and or a therapist. A therapist is not just when I'm messed up about an issue, but they can provide encouragement. They can provide guidance. They can help you with accountability. Sometimes that accountability is all you need. I need somebody here with me. Like sometimes, like if you're doing something, like when Leah would be my accountability when I start to crochet, because she's going to want to know how far have I gotten on my blanket. So then I have to show her. So now I'm accountable to make sure I do a little bit on there so I can show her what I've done. That's what she taught me to do. And that's going to help her as well as me. It's going to motivate her to continue to grow and stuff. And it's going to help me to grow. If we have any questions, first, as I said, I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that I didn't miss anybody. I want to thank you all for joining today. We're going to do our affirmations. No, we're going to no. Let's do one more thing. Um, I want to say one more thing. When it comes down to feeling stuck, it all boils down to this: feeling stuck can have a huge impact on the way you feel about yourself and about life in general. It needs to be tackled because these types of feelings can have a tendency to just suck the life right out of you. This thing is, you're not alone, and feeling stuck is a common experience for a lot of people. The good news is, it's absolutely possible to make positive progress and move forward by taking action, by seeking support, and by looking after yourself. Be patient with yourself and make sure that you celebrate those small successes, those little successes all along the way. Celebrate them no matter how small or how silly they may seem. Celebrate your success. Making progress and moving forward is a process. But with time and effort, you can create a more fulfilling and a more meaningful life for yourself. I want to make sure that I say that. And I want to thank you all again, those of you who watched this video, who have been on here with me live, those who will watch it later on Facebook or YouTube. I really appreciate it. Our affirmations for this week: I am reaching my goals. You can repeat after me. I am reaching my goals. I trust myself and my process. I attract opportunities that align with my goals. I let go of what no longer serves me. I embrace progress over perfection. I take small steps every day toward my dreams. I am becoming the best version of myself. And I am always a safe place for myself. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. I want to thank Mr. David for this topic, and I'm glad that this is what he brought up. And David, if this is what you were looking for, if this is helpful to you, let us know. If you understand your where you're feeling stuck and you want us to do more, let us know. And if anyone else has any topics or the things that they think we should talk about that would help us become more whole and more authentic, let me know. And I'll be glad to do the research and do the presentation. You all have a wonderful day and a happy weekend. Thank you all, and I love you. Goodbye.